Welcome Dr. Ken to the show now. And Dr. Ken, welcome and welcome in studio.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it a bunch. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm trying to get one of the rooms in my house to look like this.
We have tried really hard to get this room to look like this. Some say it looks a little bit cluttered and junky, but we do not agree with that. We think it looks perfect.
Beautiful. No doubt.
Well, first of all, just talk to us a little bit about Performance Vision.
Yes. So we opened this office up about a little over a year and a half ago. I was in, this Performance Vision office is new in Huntsville. I'm not so much new. This will be my 18th year in practice. One of the reasons we opened up this Performance Vision Center was, we're still doing all our regular routine eye care, but one of the things in my specialty, what I really love doing is working with athletes. And how can we incorporate their vision and their vision skills to make these athletes better? So, while we do all the routine eye care, our office is really centered around helping our youth athletes, reach their full potential and be the best that they can be. And there's a lot of, a lot of these young athletes have vision issues that can slow them down, and so it's an often overlooked thing. And so we wanted to just help all our local youth players as much as we could.
And Dr. Ken, I got to say, we paid homage in the last couple of weeks to Jerry Dugan, who we lost, who passed away. And I know you competed against his teams when he coached at Lee High School during your days as an athlete at Huntsville High. And it's funny, you mentioned vision, how important it is for athletes, but we had Danny Petty on the show, who played for Coach Dugan and was MVP of the state championship game, the state championship team, in 1968 in the state championship. And he told a story about his vision because Coach Dugan had to help him. They had to get him, glasses because he said, man, I couldn't see a thing. He said, I couldn't guard anybody. He goes, Coach Dugan would always being helpful. Danny Petty can't find his man. He goes, I couldn't find my man because I couldn't see. And so, they were able to help him, get him glasses, and it really made a difference in him as an athlete. And I know that's kind of what you guys are doing.
Oh, sure. The one thing that's overlooked a lot, I tell you, a lot of players, they go have their physical or they look at a chart on the wall and, okay, I can read down to the bottom line of the chart. I'm good.
Oh, that's me.
I'm good.
That's me right now. And I'm
good. We're done next, but gosh, the eyes just do so much more than that. Do so much more than that for you. And so, basically what we do, we'll take the regular routine eye exam and we just go way more in depth with it, just to kind of give a summary of kind of what we're doing. We're basically, and I think we mentioned it before, Scott, I like to use the NFL Combine analogy. They get these guys up there and they're going to break down all of their individual physical skills, right? Speed, agility, quickness, vertical, agility, all that stuff. So, they get these, they take all these guys and they get they score all these individual skills and they rank them, right? Well, it's basically what we're doing with the visual system. When we do a sports vision evaluation,
right,
we're taking your visual system and we're going to break it down into its individual, what we call visual skills. And we're going to, technology has come a long way nowadays and allowed us to measure and quantify these things that we weren't able to do before. So we're going to break down each one of these visual skills. There's about 10 to 12 of them,
and that's what we're going to do over the next few months is we're going to kind of educate a lot of our listeners on some of those skills, on if you have athletes at home, if you have young kids at home, if you have middle school, high school kids, even college kids, on how they can get better by coming and seeing you with these vision things. And that's our goal, and that's why we have you now in studio once a month. And when you are in studio, the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline will still be open, 256-382-0724. If you have eye questions, if you have eye concerns, if you have sports eye concerns, give Dr. Ken a call. That's why he's going to be in here now once a month with us here inside the studios here. And the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline will be open for you. Thank you to Performance Vision for making all of this happen. That's our goal, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the one of the reasons I love doing things like this is, you know, these vision training programs and concepts as they apply to sports and athletic performance. It's not a new stuff. I didn't make all this stuff up. You know, they really started these programs and concepts. They started putting into place back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, you know, traditionally, the only athletes that really had access to these things were your higher level pro, Olympic level athletes. Where, you know, they just fly these specialists in, they, you know, do these things. So, you know, one, there's not a lot of folks that do this kind of thing, and it's never been really offered in North Alabama before. And so, what you're seeing now, as technology's caught up, these programs are starting to trickle down a lot into the college programs now. And so, you know, our biggest thing was, gosh, you know, there's so many local kids around here. I think we could really help
Charles
them access, or they would have access to those programs. And, you know, maybe we can help as many as we can.
All right, let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline right now. And Charles is with us this morning. Good morning, Charles.
How are y'all doing? As you know, Scott and Drew, I do mental game work with athletes, and I cannot tell you the importance of this for parents to consider vision as a problem. I've had numerous clients sent to me with, quote, mental game problems, and as I started working with them, I realized they need a vision evaluation, and it has proven to change careers. I was working with a PGA Tour player, and he complained about never hitting the ball the right distance, judging it going into the green. He was evaluated and found out, you can correct me if I'm wrong, his eyes were diverging a little bit and giving him depth perception problems. He was given a yardage, but he wouldn't believe the yardage. He'd believe his eyes. This guy engaged in about a month of exercises with his eyes and then had 5 top 10 finishes in a row. It is hugely important, and being able to track objects while you're moving and the object's moving. You know, people can stand statically and have great vision, but they can't do athletic things to their top levels without proper vision.
Yeah, expand on that divergent. Well, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a great example. You know, golf is kind of its own animal. You know, we kind of approach it a little bit different than we would basketball or baseball, right? But, you know, one of the things we see with golfers is one of the biggest enemies of the visual system in golfers is fatigue. And so what happens when the eyes, you know, fatigue, because you're out there, you know, you're playing for a few hours, right? You know, and there's a lot of visual demand while you're out there. You're constantly focusing and concentrating on each shot. And so one thing that's fairly common is when the eyes and the eye muscles start to fatigue, they'll start to drift outward a little bit. Because that's, you know, the natural resting state for your eyes. For most folks' eyes, you know, when they're sleeping is slightly divergent out a little bit. That's kind of where they go to rest. So as eyes get tired, as that fatigue sets in, the eyes, we're going to want to relax a little bit, and those eyes will drift apart, you know, just enough, and that can absolutely affect your depth perception, where you feel like the target is. That's a great example, yeah. And these guys on the tour, they've been doing this stuff for years now.
And you can do that in your office, though. You have the ability to help that. And we were talking before, and you mentioned not too many facilities in North Alabama have this. You're the only facility in North Alabama that can do this.
Well, yes, sir. The system we use is called the Synaptech Sensory Station, and it's what it's specifically designed for. There's, to my knowledge, there's only 2 of these in the state. We have one of them. And so it was originally designed to evaluate all the visual skills of athletes and also the military.
And we, of course, on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, this is our golf analyst, Charlie Plott. He's a part of Plott Performance. And Charlie, as you were saying, what Dr. Ken is doing can be very vital, especially for helping young athletes.
I had a basketball player sent to me, and it was a post player, and they felt like if he had the ball, if they threw it to him in the post, or if he was moving down the lane towards the basket and they wanted to get him the ball, he would get anxiety about scoring the ball and would miss. And I watched this kid, and I was like, man, he does fine when he's stationary, but when he's moving and they throw him a bounce pass, he has a hard time catching the ball and locating the rim and all of this sort of stuff. I sent this kid off to get evaluated. Like you were saying, Doc, it's just not something the average folks have great access to. And they literally stuck him on a mini tramp and tried to throw him balls, and he couldn't catch them. And they realized this guy has tracking problems, and if he's moving and the ball's moving, you may be able to elaborate on that, but it was life-changing. I went from maybe a D2 athlete to a D1 scholarship, and just because of being able to improve his ability to track.
Sure, that's a common one too. I know, especially with younger kids, eye tracking or eye coordination issues are probably one of the more common things that we see. The great thing is it's also one of the easier skills to improve. So you know, a lot of these visual skills, the thing with sports is a lot of these things don't show up. Maybe if a kid's sitting in the classroom or he's doing his homework, or all right, well, now have that kid, say he's a wide receiver, okay, have him running down the field full speed, having to look back over his shoulder, having to find the ball, target it, track it in. That's a whole different animal. And so
it looks like a mental game problem, and it's not.
Right.
Well, obviously, Doc. Right now, how would somebody, if they wanted listening right now, they want to call your office? Best way to call your office and get on the books and just get an appointment to see you.
Sure. So, the one easy way through our website, which is performancevisioninc.com. All our info there. There's a lot of info on the sports side of things on there. We try to put to give a lot of resources there. But you can. Our phone number's there. It's 256-469-6427. You can also email or directly message us through the website. Probably the easiest way to do it. We also have a Facebook page as well. So.
And Dr. Ken, I know that, as you said, this particular part of your business. You've been doing this 18 years, but you started Performance Vision about a year and a half ago. So this is cutting edge stuff that should be able to help young athletes going forward.
Absolutely. When I first started looking at this about five years ago, I really just honestly what I did was I just studied it for an entire year. Did as much research as I could, read every book I could find, went to some, continuing education courses and just try to soak up as much, because I really wanted to see, all right, I want to understand all these concepts and how they apply to sports specifically, and two, does this stuff really work? And so after a year, no question, this stuff helps kids, helps athletes, and so after that, we started slowly building my programs and kind of tweaking things here or there, streamlining things. And so really for the past three to 4 years, we've been doing these programs. And we're seeing a lot of great success. It's a blast. I love doing it. It's fun. And it's really fun to watch these kids progress as they go through.
Yeah, and help someone get better. And as Charlie said, sometimes they think it's a mental thing, but it's really not. And if you can help a young man get better and improve something and gain self-confidence, it can make a huge difference in their way of life.
Sure. And sometimes it's just as simple as having the right vision correction, the right contacts. Sometimes that's all you got to do. Other cases, maybe a little more work involved. That's where we start getting into the vision training programs and things like that. But yeah,
and that's some of the stuff we'll talk about as the time goes on. Some of the other topics that we might hit. What are some of the other things over the next couple months that the listeners can be ready for?
Yeah, we can even get sport specific. I can give you, we can pick a sport each time and say, hey, all right, here's a bunch of tips or things that are how these, how your vision system helps you
baseball?
In this sport.
And
Baseball,
softball?
Obviously, yeah. We can, we could talk for hours. There's so many examples and things there. So, we won't be any shortage of content.
Not at all. I mean, it's gonna be great. We look forward to continuing to grow the relationship, and we thank Charlie for calling in and giving his take on things, because he does a lot of work with pro athletes as well, and he's just backing up what you're trying to help people with, Dr. Ken, and we're excited about that. We're excited about that performance vision to our family here, and we're looking forward to these chats, and it's going to educate all of us, because right now, I'll be honest with you, I mean, Scott can read the chart. I'm sort of blind to the bad.
My wife's telling me right now that I probably need to go see like the general eye doctor, because I'm having a hard time seeing the small print, so I'm holding things out a little bit more, and she's like, that's because you're getting old.
But am I the oldest guy in here right now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I know you're older than him. I
don't know. I am 45. I'll just go ahead and put my age out there.
Okay. I'm 45. I'm almost 46.
We're the same, yeah.
So I'm older. I'm the oldest of this group, but not by much.
So hang in there, Scott. We can help you.
Well, that's the thing, though, too. We talk a lot about sports, and when we talked before, we talk a lot about sports, and we're going to talk a lot about how sports vision can help, but we don't want to leave out everybody that just may need general eye vision as well, because it is very important. We talk a lot about health on this show, too, but it's very important as well, just to get your eyes checked if you're driving down the parkway. This is for you, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing that we see too when we work with our athletes, and specifically when we improve these folks' visual skills, it helps them on the court, on the field. But guess what? We also see it bleed over and help them in the classroom.
Yes,
which is a great side benefit.
Awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about.
That's how I found out when I was younger that I needed glasses, because I was struggling in the classroom.
Heck, I
couldn't read the blackboard.
Back in my day,
blackboards back then. That's when they used the chalkboards. Yes.
Back in my days as a high school student, and when I got my license, that's how I found out. You go and try to take the vision test, and hey, guess what? Wrong. Then you got to go to optometrist.
We do those exams all the time.
Yeah,
the driver's license.
There you go. And so, but I know it's been great having you, Dr. Ken. I mean, it's been really fun, and I'm glad we're reconnecting too. It's great to have another former member of our community, someone that grew up here, played high school sports here, and that's going to be key. I think you can make a lot of connections around here, and we just really think performance vision is going to be something that we're going to be really excited to be educated about throughout this time with us.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. This is going to be fun. I'm excited.